which is already open.
Ready? This meeting's called to order. Roll call. Here.
Here.
Can you certify that we're in compliance with open meeting laws?
Yes, I posted on May 9th at around 6:30.
Public comment? Give me a second.
Right here.
Are you commenting? Or?
I'm ready, when you are.
Okay, 3 minutes.
Okay. This is more of questions than it is comment, but it is questions. First question is, can the Bureau of Aeronautics accept the bid, approve the bid, and authorize construction to begin on the T-hangar without this board giving its approval? And part two, what party, the BOA or the town board, actually signs a construction contract and authorizes the contractor to begin the work at the airport? Besides the airport manager and the potential renters of the hangars, has the town board received any positive statements of support from the community of pilots using the airport, Flying Club, Charlie's, EAA chapter members concerning the building of the T-hangar? Has the town board received formal letters of commitment from the potential renters? The airport manager has stated are interested and defined the earnest money to be paid by the renters up front to confirm their commitment to rent, and the funds to continue to be held as security deposit toward future unpaid rent or damage to the unit. Does the town board have a stated policy that prior to airport projects being proposed and added to the 6-year airport plan, that the town board takes all suggested airport projects under advisement and holds public hearings to include the pilot community and the town electorate to discuss in an open forum the value of a requested project and the specific benefits it'll provide to the airport and the electors given the estimated cost? Per the town's policy, is only the town board authorized to submit changes to the 6-year airport plan to the BOA. If this board elects to violate state statute 60.102F that states electorate approval is necessary to construct a town-owned building, would the board ask Attorney Levi to estimate the cost to the town of defending a lawsuit brought by a third party to challenge the statute violation by the town? Legal costs should be estimated, assuming one appeal by the plaintiff if they lose, and the chance that the town may have to pay the plaintiff's legal costs if the plaintiff wins in the first court case or on appeal. That's it.
Okay. Any other public comment, Joel?
Right. I have two comments. One is, I'll give you copies of it. I have two things, one with the budget, but since that's not open to discussion, I just included some facts and figures for the budget. I'll give you a copy later. I guess my comment is, has a cost analysis been done for the T-hangar project? This report would include estimated construction costs, including landscaping, concrete floor, ceiling, asphalt pads to connect the T-hangars with the taxiways and the interior finishing that may be required by the renters. Besides the construction costs, the analysis would also show annual expenses such as interior and exterior maintenance, electricity, fire insurance, and liability insurance. I have included a simple cost-benefit analysis form for your review. If the board and Don are willing, I would be happy to help with getting information and filling out the form. Once completed, it will tell us if the project is beneficial to the town and to the airport. So So that's one thing. The other one, what I did was I summarized the budget. I was at the meeting with Ed, the road meeting last week, and the comment was come up, do we have enough money to do the projects? According to what I found in the budget and what has been spent, we have $634,000 coming in. We received 215, that means we got $418,000 coming in yet. And in the budget, looking at the budget, the way it was set up, we're still under road construction, and it looks like everything would be adequate with what Ed proposed at the meeting. So, those are summaries I came up with.
Okay, thanks. Minutes for March 10th.
Just did that one.
I'll make a motion to discuss the amended, thank you, the amended March 10th minutes.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded.
I have one comment. This is the exact same minutes that we rejected a month ago. This is the one that we didn't approve. It's exactly the same as that. This is the one that we originally done, that I said I would be fine with.
What's the
I
difference?
changed, here, I'll give you your.
This stuff in here was what I questioned.
Right, but I put that, what Deb wanted that stuff in there, so I put that the motion to approve the minutes, just the minutes, not the discussion. I mean, here. I mean, I don't care, I'll take it out and just put in the motion, because that's what I'm gonna start doing. Because one person wants me to put in stuff, the other one doesn't want me to put in stuff. I'm just doing motions, that's what I legally have to do. So I'll take all that out and I'll just give you all the motions. I'll redo the whole thing.
But what you corrected in here is what happened, it is correct. This was the discussion that we had about the clerk and the IT and getting the previous records.
Well, that's
That
why,
motion didn't carry unanimously.
no, the motion for the,
To accept the
The
minutes, it
minutes.
says the motion to accept minutes carries unanimously.
I didn't say it, but
Because I
it,
didn't pass, I didn't accept it.
I'm pretty sure you said on the, I didn't have any, I did not hear you not accepting that. Well, I can change that, then it was 2-1. I was listening to it on the YouTube, and I'm sorry. I didn't, I thought you, because Larry said, okay, motion carried, so I thought I heard your voice. But I reworded it so that it was just the minutes, not the discussion.
I see that happen.
And when you sent me an email, why didn't you just say it?
Because I didn't get a chance to look at it until this afternoon.
So the only thing that's not correct is how the motion was accepted. Can we just change that part, make it 2-1? Motion carries.
I don't care.
I'm fine with that.
You want to restate it?
The only thing,
Amend the minutes.
I'll make a motion to amend the March 10th minutes to read, motion to accept the minutes carries 2-1.
seconded to change the wording in the March 10th minute.
How did you reword it again? Here, this is not mine.
In there.
But that's not your motion.
That's my motion.
Her motion is
To accept the March 10th minutes to include that line as changed.
It's been moved in second to change it. All in favor?
Okay.
Aye. Okay. April 12th minutes.
I'll make a motion to discuss the April 12th minutes.
Second. Sorry.
You wanted a motion to discuss them. It's been moved in second to discuss the April 12th minutes. You have discussion?
I have one question. On the April
The April 10th minutes.
April
10th
10th.
minutes, why are we?
April 12th?
Oh, sorry,
10th.
April 12th. I'm sorry, March 10th.
Why are we putting that 43,000 back in the general fund when we already have 73,772 in the general fund and 91,000 still in the tax account?
Because of the 90,000, a good portion of that still goes to, I will show you, it's assigned. 30,000 about of the 90,000 goes for special assessment. Because I looked at the August and we get like 75,000 and there's nothing coming in for special assessment. So I have to have 89,000 for special assessment. When that was taken out, Larry told me to send it back to the general fund because that was taken out. What you guys keep saying, there's $600,000. You have re-spent the same money, I don't know how many times. It's assigned. And I think if you look at what Jan sent, you'll see that I'm correct. So that's why Larry told me to send it back to the general fund. It's not for money just to spend. That's why I put that on there. So everybody doesn't think that's just free money to spend because it's enough.
I move to accept it since we'll be discussing the budget a little later anyway.
You accept the April 12th minutes?
Yeah, I'll accept it. We already got the
Okay,
motion.
those are the treasurer's report.
This was
No,
on
the minutes.
On
The
the
minutes.
minutes. That was on the minutes.
Right. Okay, oh, that was, okay, a minute item, okay.
I'll make a motion to accept the April 12th minutes. as read.
There's a second.
We second it.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the April 12th minutes as read. Is there any more discussion? Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Treasurer?
Actually, wasn't that what Ed was talking about?
Well, he was changing an item of, that was in the
It's on the
minutes.
back of,
That's right.
no, it's on the back of the other minutes.
I'll make a motion to accept the treasurer's report as stated.
This is,
Been moved and seconded to accept the treasurer's report as stated. Any more discussion? Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Aye. Accept.
No, for
No? Okay. No. Motion carried. Highway is next. I don't know if Ken made.
Ken will be here.
Ken will be here later. Fire department, we sent the money to have the titles transferred. Airport, Don?
Next month I'll have a report for you.
Okay. Blue Spring Lake Management District?
There's a Blue Spring Lake meeting next Saturday, and then an informational meeting the following Saturday.
Or is that here?
The first one is here, and the second one's at the school,
What time? You know,
9 o'clock.
9?
9 this Saturday and 9 following Saturday.
Informational meeting?
The one in 2 weeks is an informational meeting, the one this week is
It's a board meeting.
just a regular board meeting.
What date is the board meeting?
Saturday, so it's the 17th.
And when's the,
17th and 24th are the dates.
what's the informational meeting for?
That's information, and we would give the board, the district, information about what's going on in the district.
Oh, like
The sewer contract, the treasurer's report.
Informational meeting with no official business being conducted. In theory.
Do you have anything from the building inspector?
No.
Correspondence?
Well, we got invitations to the ribbon cutting. There's a,
Ribbon cutting event Wednesday, May 21st from 1 till 2 at the Standard Process Athletic Complex. That's from 1 till 2 Wednesday, May 21st. There'll be a brief ceremony and light refreshments.
building permit for the Energies for Cold Spring Egg Farm. And Edward and Colleen Dion have they have a deck at their campground. It says no walls, no roof. But I didn't receive the check yet from the building inspector for those. The Humane Society didn't have any animals that they picked up in April. The United Methodist Church, the Salone United Methodist Church, received their variance for a placement of sign. This was approved originally by the other board, so, but they just ended up getting around to it now. And then I have receipts of correspondence.
Keep it looking back. Yeah.
Is that what you have?
That's it.
You know? You want to give a report? Do you have a report?
Sure. I think the only thing we did last month to this month on the pothole, so that's all done. Other than that,
I think the potholes carried pretty good over the winter.
yeah, they did. I think the winter was tough, but the good news is the frost went in and stayed in the ground. It didn't keep coming in and out all winter. Therefore, I think the roads held up better than previous years. So yeah,
It's coming out tonight.
But yeah, right, yeah. That's for sure.
That's a good thing for the winter.
So, yeah, they were not in as bad a shape as you would have thought.
No.
You know, so, they went pretty quick.
That's it?
Yep.
Okay, new business. Todd and Christine.
Tasensky.
Tasensky.
Just call him Todd instead.
Okay, you got property on County H.
Yes.
Zoning variance request for an unattached garage extended structure of 1,152 square feet on a 9-acre lot zoned R2.
Right, correct. I'd like to exceed the 1,000-foot limit and go to 1152, 36 by 32 garage.
Is it for storage or
Yes, strictly storage.
storage building?
Yeah, I'd just like to keep the vehicles out of the driveway. I've got a couple trailers I'd like to get under a roof, just for longevity of everything.
Did anybody ever respond to your letters?
No, they did not. There's 4 lots that are close to that corner of my property. 2 of them are residents, this is who I talked to. The other 2, one is a vacant lot and the other one is just a garage. And they're both listed as trusts, that's why I sent the letter out.
Well, I got the paperwork from the county. I don't think the town has a problem with it at all. And I would see no reason not to approve it.
It's for.
So.
I'll make a motion to approve the garage for Todd and Christine Tasensky, 1,152 square feet at North 678 County H.
I'll second that motion.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the zoning variance for the increase in square footing on lot 9. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? No. Motion carried.
Thank you.
Okay, county will probably look at it. I don't.
Yeah, I have to go to the county next. But
Yeah.
I need your approval before I go to the county.
Yes. Does he have to take your paperwork from here? You have to take paperwork?
No,
was-
they-
Yeah.
He sent, that's what he sent me. He has to get it from the county. We sign what they send us.
Yeah, I'll just get the minutes that say it approved. I can get those offline and I'll just take that.
Okay.
I mean, their meeting, I have to go to their meeting next month, so I've got a couple of weeks.
I can call Debbie and talk to her too.
Because otherwise our minutes won't be approved or posted.
Yeah, I'll give Debbie a call and ask her if she, usually they send me something and then we sign it. We're kind of,
Okay, I can contact her too, so.
yeah, that's no problem. I'll just call her and.
Okay, I greatly appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay, next item is Rushing Waters Trout House Reserve Class B liquor license and Class B beer and wine. You have that, so,
I had it.
done? Paperwork's all done on it?
It's all done. I need his operators though. And so he has till June 30th. He'll have to get me the operator license and we'll have to vote on the next.
We vote on this now, or?
Yeah, then they have their liquor license, the operators.
They'll have that, then we vote on the operators when we get some.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve Rushing Waters Reserve Class B liquor license and Class B beer and wine license.
I'll second the motion.
It's been moved and seconded to approve Rushing Waters Trout House Reserve Class B liquor license and Class B beer and wine license. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Oh,
The citation to the statute should be 125. It's 124. If you want us to amend that, the citation other than that is correct. There is no chapter 124.
okay, Highway Superintendent. Oh wait, airport rental agreement. We put bids out on the 30 acres of land at the airport, received the bid, and it was rented out for $80 an acre. And we have signatures It's a signed
I
contract.
thought we already approved.
We already approved
We
it.
already, yeah, I thought we already.
Well,
approved
Tom
it.
amended it, I guess. Did we approve the original? I didn't know.
We approved the original, I thought, with his amendment.
I thought it was laid over till this month's meeting. It was raised last month.
I
I'll
thought they
make a
were.
motion to pass it again, to approve the airport rental agreement.
I'll second it.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the airport rental agreement on the 30 acres of tillable land at the airport.
What did you amend?
He reworded some
It was
things.
just reworded.
Reworded something. And the record should also indicate that Chairman Cowell took no part in the discussion or voting and would have to abstain because the subject matter of the lease concerns a family member.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Right.
Yes.
No, just a motion.
Okay, highway superintendent contract. We had a contract for the highway superintendent, a resolution last year. And I believe there were some wording changes. Is that correct?
There were some changes. This is the copy we worked off of, and then Wendy supposedly had the signed copy. That was just the original one I worked off of.
You know, sign. Okay.
The only reason I brought it up now, the resolution is good till October, but I feel it should be at the beginning of the term rather than the middle. And it's just something to be renewed, unless you don't want me to be the highway superintendent.
Should we,
So are you changing the date?
Changing the date to now, till
Are you taking that one?
to May rather than October.
there's something that's in the new one that's been involved, that's not in this one. It's been changed, correct? From this
Yeah,
one?
that
Should
one
be-
paragraph where it's.
This part here, because I don't get paid
Item two.
anything
Okay,
for doing it.
there's a changed copy you have.
Yeah, and then this, said there was another thing.
It was just a misspelling at the end.
Okay.
So if you change the date, you gotta re-sign it anyway. So. Someone did a motion.
Do a motion to
I don't know if I can.
It's a resolution. It's stated, it's a resolution, so just I guess a motion to approve the resolution.
No, change date.
It's changed.
It's
date.
changed date and it has language that's issued.
Well, the language should have been changed already.
It has
It's
been.
just,
It
it's
has.
renewing it as a.
It's changing the
It's
date
just
of
changing
renewal.
the date of renewal.
It has to be redated.
So a new so redoing, updating.
It gets redated every yearly.
I guess motion to update.
The motion to change the date of renewal is what they're asking for.
Right, to May.
Instead of October. So it would renew every May instead
So
of
it'd be
every
in May,
October.
so you've got the beginning of a term.
It was before the road year begins.
Right.
So is, so, what are you making motion?
I'll make a motion to update the highway superintendent resolution to change the date of renewal from October to May annually. You're not getting money for it.
No,
You're not giving
It's
money.
not paid.
You are paid an hourly rate.
no, I'm not. I'm not taking anything. The town schedule is $25 an hour, but you said because it's a superintendent position, I can't vote on anything where I can gain
Right, you get-
enrichment.
If you gain, if you.
So I am not taking anything for doing the work.
I would still abstain, because it's,
So Larry-
I recommend that you abstain.
Well, I can second the motion, I'll second the motion to, it's been moved and seconded to update the highway superintendent contract and have it dated in May. And,
All you have to do is say your second motion, you don't have to repeat your motion.
second motion.
He's just repeating it because
We'll just have a test afterwards.
I want to make sure that she has it.
Motion by Youth to update and to change date from October to May annually.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I have a question about that, then do we need to redo the resolution to appoint Eddie as the superintendent for another year, or does it just automatically carry over annually if you don't change it?
I think this document stands for on a year-by-year basis.
A year later, so we'll need to vote him as the highway superintendent for 2014, 2015?
Right, and then next May you'd have another vote.
And I could have voted on the first motion. Because it wouldn't have included me.
Technically not, because you're already the highway superintendent.
Do you have to have that on the agenda then?
You should have it on the agenda next May. Right.
Next
month.
Next
Next
month.
month.
To reappoint.
You're approving the resolution now, it's gonna go for a year, right?
Well, this runs from October.
Well, why couldn't we do that, because it says discuss and possible action highway superintendent is very broad.
Right,
So can't we just make a motion now to appoint him since we changed the date? Because technically he's highway superintendent until October,
October, right.
until we just made this motion.
right.
So it would make sense to appoint him
So then have
now.
a second motion to appoint him for 1 year, starting May 1st.
Or at the meeting in May, whenever.
Okay, at the meeting in May, second Monday in May.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
I will make a
that's-
motion to appoint Eddie as the highway superintendent for the 2014-2015 year.
I second it. It's been moved and seconded to appoint Ed as highway superintendent for 2014-2015. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Be done. Discussion on the budget.
I'll make a motion to discuss the budget.
I'll second it. Okay, I don't know, permission to speak, Larry? Okay, we started out the year with $130,491 in the bank account. The LGIP had $101,307.30 in it. And the income that was projected from the tax levy and assessments was $448,348. That means the total available funds at the beginning of the year was $680,146.54. I don't understand how we're running out of money. We haven't spent anything on the roads yet this year other than the maintenance, which I also have. Guess I forgot it. that sheet that I gave you Thursday night, Larry. You have that with you?
What first?
Your committee meeting. Regardless, okay, we're at $100,000 on snow plowing. We had 14,000 projected for mowing the side of the road. Mike Van had $575 that we paid him. We had 33,000 set aside for the county for doing signs. And I think that was the only ones I had. The road work that I'm proposing comes out to $82,400, I believe. I apologize for not bringing that with me. For paving and redoing, these are estimates for redoing Tamarack Road and Carlin Trail. And it was $35,000 to seal coat Blue Spring Lake and $23,000 to crack seal 5 different roads, which came out to $267,000 some odd dollars. With what I have in this budget that I proposed right here, putting $150,000 out of the LJP and the general account would give us $315,873 that we could put into the roads, and that would still leave $82,000 left over. Yes.
I want to read something that came from Jan, the auditor, on the budget and the attachments that she sent. It says, please see the attached summary of the town revenues and expenses for the past 5 years. Budget amendment roads. 2012 roads budget was overspent by almost $88,000, which we had planned on. Per statute 82.03, the total amount spent in any year for construction, maintenance, and repair of highways and bridges may not exceed the product of $5,000 multiplied by the number of miles of highway unless one of the following occurs. A greater sum is authorized by the town meeting. The town board by resolution submits to the electors of the town as a referendum at the general or special town election the question of exceeding the limits set under this subsection. From my calculations, this is by Jan, the town could spend up to 38 miles, $5,000, which equals $190,000 on roads in 2013, but spent $262,818 on roads. As the current 2014 road budget stands, the town is under the threshold of $190,000 with a budget of $145,660. If a higher amount is determined to be necessary, the town will need to go through the above steps to authorize an amount over $190,000. Fund balance minimum. Undesignated fund balance should be maintained at a minimum of 10% of the budget. In 2013, that would be $49,000. However, we highly recommend shooting for 20% of the budget would be closer to $100,000. Borrowing. Historically, the town has had very little debt. However, the town could consider obtaining debt for the road construction for the following reasons. Preserve undesignated cash for the town for unseen expenditures, and allow the town to increase its levy by the amount of the debt service on the debt. I spoke with Jan regarding this, and actually she sent this out after I talked to her. She does not feel that the town is in a position to spend the kind of money that's being recommended in the budget. She does not feel, and attached here are all of her graphs, which everyone on the board received. If you look at the last page of her packet that she sent on, I'm sorry, it's actually page 6, I believe.
This is the actual, just this construction.
This Those are the estimates, yeah.
Comes out to 166.
Yeah. This was the numbers I had, yeah, I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay. On page 7 of the packet that Jan sent, you can see she has unassigned, assigned, and reserves. And she looks back over 5 years, going back to 2009, and there was no reserve set in 2009 or 10 or 11, and nothing for 12 or 13 set as reserves. The money that you're talking about starting with at the beginning of the year, and I confirmed this with the auditor, was already assigned money. It was not extra money that we had left over.
In fact, it's only the last 3 years that any money was assigned. If you look at the graph, it was like nothing was assigned for, there was no assignment here.
Everything was unassigned.
9 and 10, and then 11, 12, and 13. Now you start getting a portion that's assigned.
Signed to what?
It was Jan's recommendation when I talked to her that she does not see the money that we've been talking about trying to assign for the larger road project. She doesn't see it there. She sees that money needs to stay in as an emergency fund.
I talked to Jan on Friday afternoon, and she said that we could spend $165,000 and still have $80,000 left in reserve.
So then I'd be curious, when I talked to her, she hadn't talked to you yet, and I'm not sure if she would tell you something completely different that she told me.
She said at the beginning of the year.
165,000 is not the 360.
The 300, the 123 has already been budgeted for signs, for mowing, for snow plowing. We're talking about road construction. The road committee has submitted a proposal to spend $143,695. Chip sealing, Blue Spring Lake is $37,000, correct?
Those are estimates, yeah.
Estimates, crack sealing on Tower Road.
Tower Road, Young Road,
Young.
Spring Lakes, South Shore Drive, and the north end of Zion.
Where's the chip sealing, 37,000?
That's around the lake.
Where's the crack sealing then? It's Tower Road?
Tower Road, Young Road, Blue Spring Lake Drive, South Shore Drive, and the north end of Zion Road. You have
You're doing
to,
chip
you have
sealing
to
and
crack,
crack
you
sealing?
have to crack
Right,
seal it
okay.
before you chip seal
All right,
it.
okay. And then pulverizing and paving, that's the estimate to finish Tamarack Road
And Carmen Trail.
and Carlin Trail.
So what you're saying is
This
when
was
I
sent
spoke
on
with
May
Jan, when I spoke with Jan on Monday, or Tuesday last week, and she told me there is not $165,000 to spend on these roads that is being proposed. So, and she sent this on May 9th. So you talked to her on Friday and she all of a sudden changed.
She told me
her
on January
plan?
1st there was $232,000 in LGIP funds that were unallocated.
Then I'd like
Some
her
of
to
it-
come to a meeting and say
some of it
that,
was-
because that is not at all. what
Some
this
of it
meeting
was
is.
in the general account, because when you transfer 97,000 into the general account, but total savings that turned over at the end of the year were 232,000. Jan told me that.
Okay,
on
then I
Friday.
want her to come to a meeting and say that in front of all of us,
But she
because
sent
when,
this out on May 9th, which is Friday.
when I talked to her about the audit, and she told me flat out, we were overspent, I'd like her to state in front of all of us the same thing, because that is not at all what she had told me.
Or what she said in this
Or
report.
what she said in this
When I-
report, nor is it what she put in her audit.
Yes, it is in the audit. It shows right here that we had money that was $264,000. That includes the airport though. That's our beginning
You cannot touch
balances.
the airport, and you can't include the airport in that money.
That's just part of it.
That's just part of it. That
That's
was
only 30 of it.
30,000.
To settle it, you have to have Jan come here. We could ask her into a special meeting, because she sent out this is in writing, this is May 9th on this report, and that's Friday. And that's the only way you're gonna be able to, make sure. You don't wanna go spending money that,
And she told me that the auditors recommend that you put 20% of your annual budget aside. And by